Hey, what's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and I wish you welcome to our first super busy weekend. That is Saturday of the season with the top five European football leagues all in action this weekend, which means that the season has officially started pretty much all over Europe. In this video, I believe I have like 18 free picks for you. And like I said, it's gonna be busy Saturday. It's gonna be exciting day. We have games all over the place, so stay tuned, guys. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button to Pick Dawgz YouTube channel. For my best bets, click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page on the Pick Dawgz website where you can sign up. And of course, you can always use that discount code PICK for additional discount when purchasing the passes. Like I said, guys, it's gonna be a busy day. We have 18 picks, 18 games to talk about, so let's get this show on the road as quickly as possible. We are gonna kick it off with the EPL, and we have Fulham versus Brentford. That's a 7:30. Actually, it might not be. It might be that all games are at 10 a.m. Yes, all games are at 10 a.m. 12:30 and 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So we don't have any of those early matchups. But as far as this game goes, Fulham is actually now on a two-game winning streak. They got a win in the season opener against Everton 1-0 on the road. While Brentford, even though they are undefeated in their last three games, they haven't won any of their last six games overall. And they are scoring goals, but they're also conceding a lot of goals. So without too much complicating things here, I'm gonna go with over 2.5, which is minus 110 right now, which is insanely good of a price, and I would snag that as soon as possible, guys. Liverpool is hosting Bournemouth in the next matchup, and as we can see, they are pretty heavy favorites, even though Bournemouth has lost only two of their last six games, and they have actually been doing a decent job at the start of the season. Liverpool faced Chelsea last week, and that's a game that ended in a 1-1 draw. And I do believe they deserve to be the favorites here. They have the better team, they have the deeper team, in my opinion. And overall, I think that they are playing a decent football. But we had to dig a little bit deeper for value in this game, and that's why I decided to take over 1.5 goals in the first half, which is minus 124. Whichever side we see goals from, it doesn't really matter as long as we get at least two goals in the first half, and whoever gets on top at the end of the game, well, congratulations to them. Wolverhampton and Brighton are facing off in the next matchup, and Wolverhampton got incredibly unlucky against Manchester United last week. That's a game which they lost 1-0. But let's be honest, they should have gotten that penalty at the end of the game. They were playing outstanding football. They were creating chances. They were putting Manchester United under a lot of pressure, and they were simply unlucky not to score a goal. As far as Brighton goes, they were playing against Luton Town, which are the newcomers in the EPL, and that's a game which they won 4-1. And honestly, I do expect another high scoring game here. Wolverhampton haven't lost any of their last seven home games. They're outstanding. Their form is decent. But they haven't won any of their last three games against Brighton. So that might be a slight advantage for Brighton. However, I do believe that Wolverhampton will get on the scoreboard here. So I'm going to go with both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, which is at minus 103 at the moment. Tottenham is hosting Manchester United in the next matchup, and as unlucky Wolverhampton got in that game against Manchester United, Manchester United got extremely lucky, and they used that one chance they had. Rafael Varane scored a goal for a 1-0 win. But unless they create and use more chances here in this game, I think that Tottenham might actually outscore them because they did a solid job against Brentford. That game ended in a 2-2 draw. It was an exciting game. And at the moment, Tottenham is scoring quite a lot of goals. So I think this is going to be another high scoring game with both teams missing a few players because of the injuries or suspensions or something like that. Uh, I'm gonna go once again with both teams to score in over 2.5. It's minus 148. It is a bit expensive, and that's just a sign that the books are expecting a high scoring game as well. And the last game of the day in the EPL, and it's gonna be a great one, is between Manchester City and Newcastle. Both teams started the season in an outstanding way. Manchester City beating Burnley 3-0 on the road. Newcastle absolutely demolishing Aston Villa 5-1 at home. And Newcastle actually scored 11 goals in their last three games, 13 in their last four games. And even though they haven't conceded a lot of goals, they are conceding goals quite steadily. So I I do agree that City should be the favorite here. Minus 150 seems like a decent price, but Manchester City played a game in the UEFA Super Cup earlier this week against Sevilla. Uh, that was a trophy which they won after a penalty shootout. And when playing at home, they haven't lost to Newcastle in their last home games, in their last eight home games. However, this is a different kind of a Newcastle team. They're playing outstanding football right now. They are a very, very cohesive team. They are fighting. They are running. They're outrunning their opponents. They are creating a ton of chances, and they are just very well coached at the moment. So I'm gonna go a little bit opposite of the books here, and I'm gonna take Newcastle on the double chance at plus 120. I think that Newcastle is definitely more than capable enough of getting at least a draw out of this game, and the advantage of Manchester City playing earlier this week will be a definitely nice thing for Newcastle. So I'm taking Newcastle on the double chance. Now, guys, we are moving on to La Liga, and the first game we have is between Real Sociedad and Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo did not have a good start to the season once again. They lost 2-0 at home against Osasuna, which is quite a bad punch, if you ask me. While Real Sociedad on the other side had a 1-1 game against Girona, but when playing at home, Real Sociedad haven't lost to Celta Vigo in their last three games, and they haven't lost in any of their last 12 home games going back to last season. So both teams are missing a few players. Both teams have some injuries, some suspensions, and stuff like that. But I simply have to go with the home team at this price. So I'm going to take Real Sociedad on the money line, minus 132. Might even take Real Sociedad to win and both teams to score and see how that one will go. But personally, minus 134 on the money line on the home team is definitely good enough. Real Madrid is traveling to Almeria for their second game of the season, and they are coming off of a nice win on the road against Bilbao, which means that this is their second game on the road in the first two games of the season. And Almeria actually hasn't won any of their last seven games against Real Madrid. Now, the last home win Almeria had against Real Madrid was back in 2008, so it was a while. And of the 14 matches between these two teams, Almeria has won only one, and that was, I guess, that one in 2008. So Almeria also hasn't won any of their last four games. They are coming off of a loss to Rayo Vallecano from round one, and even though Real Madrid has a ton of injuries and they're missing some key players like Courtois, Mendy, Militao got hurt, this is a team that still has a lot of depth. They still have a lot of quality. They still have Jude Bellingham, Modric, Kroos, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, a bunch of other players that can change the flow of the game at any point. So um, I think we have to go with Real Madrid to win and over 2.5 goals. It's minus 114. I love the price, guys, and I'm surprised that Real Madrid is not even the bigger favorites than they are on the road. The last game in La Liga that we have is between Osasuna and Athletic Bilbao, and I think this one's going to be an all-out war, if you ask me. Both of these teams don't shy away from making fouls, from getting cards, from getting a little bit rough, uh, if necessary, and I think it's going to be necessary in this game. Osasuna on a two-game winning streak, they are in a much, much better form than Athletic Bilbao is, but Athletic Bilbao will do everything they can to snap that negative streak they are on, so they will need to attack, and I think that will force Osasuna to make some of those extra fouls. So I'm going with over 5.5 cards here. It's minus 117. I wouldn't even be surprised if you see a red card. So if you have that prop on your book, I would go with that as well. Put half a unit on it or something like that. But I definitely think it's going to be uh, a real battle or a war between these two teams in this game. Now we are moving on to Serie A, and it is the first round of the season in Serie A, so we gotta be careful with these games. But Frosinone as the newcomer against Napoli, I'm not sure how big of a chance they stand, even though they are actually undefeated in the last 14 games. They had a solid preseason, they were scoring goals. However, they have never beaten Napoli in the past. Of the 10 games these two teams have played since 2005, Napoli has won 8 and we have 2 draws. And even though Napoli lost their head coach, they have signed Rudi Garcia, who is actually a very, very good coach, in my opinion. Defensively, they have improved. They haven't conceded a goal in their last 2 games, and that's why they are such big favorites, to be honest. So instead of choosing the sides or goals in this first game of the season, I'm gonna take Osimhen to score at any time. It's minus 139. I think this might be the first and the last time we're gonna get the price this good on him. So I'm gonna take advantage of it, and I'm gonna take Osimhen to score for Napoli at minus 139. Inter is playing against Monza in round one, and they are also pretty heavy favorites, as they should be because they are on a 3 game winning streak. They reached the Champions League finals last season. They haven't lost any of their last 7 home games, and they are a bit of a different team than they were last season. They lost Brozovic. Lukaku is probably leaving the club as well, but they have signed Marcus Thuram from Borussia Mönchengladbach and a few other players that will definitely help them this season. So, without thinking about it too much, I'm gonna go with Inter to win and over 2.5 goals. It's minus 129. It's the first game of the season. You have to start it with a win, and on top of that, Inter is the better team here. So, Inter to win and over 2.5 goals. Now we are going to Germany and round one of Bundesliga. The first game we have is between Leverkusen and Leipzig. It's going to be an interesting one because I don't think that either of these two teams has a solid defense this season, especially Leverkusen. While Leipzig is coming off of an outstanding performance in the German Super Cup against Bayern Munich last week, a game which they won 3-0. They have won that trophy. And when these two teams meet, we usually see goals. We usually see a bunch of chances. Both teams to score has hit. We had the overs, we had the unders. We were all over the place in this matchup. But like I said, both teams on a nice winning streak, and neither team has a good defense this season, if in my opinion at least. So over 2.5 goals, minus 148. I didn't even think about that one too that much. Longer, and I simply have gone with over 2.5, keeping it simple, guys, at minus 148 at the start of the Bundesliga. Augsburg is playing against Borussia Mönchengladbach at home, and Augsburg is actually on a 3 game losing streak right now, and they actually haven't scored a goal in their last 2 games. They got knocked out of the DFB Pokal as well in the early stages, while Borussia Mönchengladbach is undefeated in their last 10 games. They haven't lost any of their last 6 games on the road, and they were pretty decent in this matchup as well. So without the defenses being set in these early stages of the season, I see goals, and that's why I decided to go with both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. And it's minus 130, which simply tells you that the books are expecting goals as well. So Augsburg against Borussia Mönchengladbach, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Hoffenheim is hosting Freiburg, and I'm actually going to keep this one the same way as I did the game before. Hoffenheim has gone both teams to score in their last 10 games in a row, and over 2.5 has hit in their last 7 games in a row. So, without thinking about it too much, both teams to score in over 2.5, minus 115. I honestly don't see either side keeping a clean sheet in this game, and I think it's going to be one of the funnest games on the Saturday slate in Bundesliga. So Hoffenheim against Freiburg, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Next two picks, we have pretty decent favorites at home. We have Stuttgart playing against Bochum, and even though Bochum is a decent team, I simply have to take Stuttgart on the money line because they are in the better form. They have done a solid job so far this season. As we can see, the price dropped a little bit from minus 148 to minus 162, but I honestly think it's still good enough to take. So I'm taking Stuttgart on the money line. Wolfsburg is hosting Heidenheim, who is the newcomer to Bundesliga, and Wolfsburg is the better team here. They have signed a couple of players in the offseason. They did lose a few players as well, but Heidenheim has never beaten Wolfsburg in the past. And even though their form is pretty solid, they are undefeated in their last 9 games. Uh, I think that I think that Wolfsburg will get the job done in this game at home. So I'm taking Wolfsburg on the money line at minus 177. And just a bit of a suggestion, if you take Stuttgart on the money line and Wolfsburg on the money line in double, you're getting a nice plus money pick, and I think it's going to be a winner. The last game of the day in Bundesliga is between Borussia Dortmund and Köln. Borussia Dortmund, we know how close they were to the title last season. They lost in the last game of the season. It was a really bad performance from them, and they can blame only themselves for not winning the title. Cologne haven't lost any of their last 6 games. Dortmund hasn't lost any of their last 16 games, and they haven't lost any of their last 20 home games. Now, losing Jude Bellingham, who went to Real Madrid, is definitely a huge deal. But they also lost, what was his name? That Portuguese left back who went to Bayern Munich. But overall, still a very decent team. And luckily for them, Cole has a bunch of injured players, and that should help Borussia Dortmund quite a lot. But we know that notoriously they are a very bad defensive team, especially at the start of the season. So I'm gonna go for the full value here, and I'm gonna take Borussia Dortmund to win and both teams to score at plus 170. Uh, can Cole get on the scoreboard? I think that most definitely they can, and they are definitely playing well enough right now to do it. While Borussia Dortmund at home, they are very hard to beat there, as we can see from their record, because they are undefeated in their last 20 games at home. I think that they will get a win, but I don't think it's going to be by keeping a clean sheet. So I'm taking Borussia Dortmund to win and both teams to score. Now we are moving on to the last two picks of this video, guys. We have Lyon against Montpellier in the French Ligue 1. Lyon coming off of a loss 2-1. They are scoring goals quite consistently, but they're struggling defensively. While Montpellier is pretty much in the same boat, and that's why I'm gonna go with both teams to score an over 2.5 in this one. Minus 129. I just can't imagine either side keeping a clean sheet in this game. So Lyon against Montpellier, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. And the last game of the day, in the French League One, we have Toulouse playing against PSG. And last week, I actually had PSG to win and over 2.5 goals. They played nil-nil against Lorient at home, but they are getting Mbappe back for this game. So apparently he's very close to extending his contract. He's in a good mood right now. He smoothed things over with the club management. We'll see how long that will last, but he should be in the lineup for this game. And for that reason, I'm gonna take PSG to win and over 2.5 goals once again, plus 108. Hopefully that Mbappe will bring some of that offense back with him, and hopefully PSG will be a lot more dangerous than they were in the first game. So to lose against PSG, I'm taking PSG to win and over 2.5 goals. That's it, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to watch these videos. I know it's a lot. I know we have a lot of free picks, but that's how we do it at Pickdawgz. We give you all those winners for free, guys. So if you want more, just subscribe to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel. Hit that like button, guys, and stay tuned for more. Like I said, I'll see you soon, and enjoy your Saturday.